Welcome to the Retire Right podcast with Larry Heller. You deserve complete financial advice. There's no acceptable alternative if you want a plan to live well and on your terms. Complete financial advice equals complete peace of mind. Now, let's get into this week's podcast episode.
Hello and welcome to Retire Right with Larry Heller from Heller Wealth Management. Larry, how are you today?
I'm doing terrific, Eric. How are you?
I'm excited. We're talking hot yoga.
Absolutely.
I've heard rumor. I don't know exactly what hot yoga is, but I'm excited. You've got two guests on the show today, and you've given me the honor of reading their bios. So you've got Sandra K. Schoenbart, and Sandra is a certified hot yoga instructor, actress, and talk show host of Cafe with Sandra K. on LTV East Hampton, Channel 20. Sandra's love for life, family, the art of yoga practice, appreciating the beauty of Mother Nature, the greater outdoors, and the value of freedom have inspired this book. Sandra has enjoyed teaching yoga privately, in groups, at places of worship, and on the beach. She loves to share the overwhelming mental and physical benefits of the yoga practice with all. And the second guest is Joanne de Simone, and Joanne is a writer, film historian, award-winning playwright, poet, and former film columnist for Fire Island News. Joanne's work has been featured in various publications and film journals. Her plays have been produced in New York City festivals, and many of them may be viewed on YouTube. Joanne's books are available in bookstores and online. She currently hosts Notes and Notations from the Writing Desk on LTV East Hampton. Larry, these two ladies have a huge bio together, even separately. So why'd you bring them on the show today?
Well, Eric, as you know, we at Heller Wealth Management do the wealth management and the financial aspects of your life. But part of the whole package is really enjoying life and quality of life. So I like to bring guests on that add to that value. And Sandra is a client of mine. She was telling me the book that she has written and what she does with yoga. So I decided it'd be great to bring on Sandra and Joanne to talk about their book, Inside Out Yoga. So Sandra and Joanne, thank you for joining us today.
No, pleasure.
Pleasure. Thank you, Larry. Thank you for having us. We're delighted to be here.
So let's tell our audience right off the start, what was the inspiration for writing the book, Inside Out Yoga?
Well, Larry, I've been practicing yoga for about 10 years now. I became a certified yoga instructor in 2014. And in order to keep learning more about the practice, I was overcome with the benefits to my mind, my spirit, my body. And I wanted to share the enormous benefits I gained in mental strength, my mood, my spirit, and the wonderful benefits to the strength building and balance that I gained in my body. Yoga speaks to the mind and the body. As a regular practice, you gain mental and physical strength, an elevated spirit while gaining balance, focus, and concentration. The practice teaches you to be grounded, and it helps you to learn to stay in the moment, to be present. It teaches you how to let go of the things in life that do not serve you. The practice and its benefits inspired me to write a motivational and inspirational guide that I could share with all.
Great. I actually have taken a few yoga classes in the last few months, so I'm interested to learn more. I'm still kind of doing slow focus yoga. I didn't realize how difficult it actually can be and all the different stages and all the different poses that you could do. So interested to hear a little bit more about the book. So how did you and Joanne come to collaborate on the Inside Out Yoga book?
Well, Larry, Joanne, and I, as you mentioned, both have TV shows at LTV East Hampton, and we were there the same day, and we met each other, and we smiled, we looked at each other, and we said, we have to get together, and we did. We had lunch, and Joanne looked at me and said, Sandra, we really have to do something. And I said, well, I've always wanted to write a book on yoga, as I'm a yoga instructor. And Joanne said, well, I'm a writer.
And I can write anything.
And she can write anything. So that was it. We got together, we collaborated. Frankly, I have to say it was a seamless collaboration. We worked together for a year, thoroughly respected, enjoyed one another. It really was a very easy process for us.
It was very enjoyable. And of course, working with the net
Right.
Annette Lee, the illustrator, just sent it home, right?
Yes, it really did.
Yeah.
So when we back up a second here, because not everyone is going to be familiar with the book. So you just said illustrator. So what was kind of the purpose of the book? And you've included illustrations. So why don't you kind of give the audience, what was your motivation or what we were trying to have the audience learn from the book?
Well, the postures, the illustrations showcase the given posture. They showcase strong, serene women that are universal in spirit, and they exemplify positivity. And that's really, the book speaks to a very positive, uplifting approach to life. We all know that life is difficult. This year, obviously, with COVID was very difficult. And by doing a yoga practice, it helps you to alleviate the stresses of life and to become grounded and find your balance and find your peace.
Yes, with universal appeal for
everyone.
For everyone. Yeah. All ages, all body types,
all sizes. We wanted everyone to know that people used to think that you had to be slim to do yoga. No, you do not need to be slim. Everyone gets a benefit from yoga. You could be any shape or size. It's a wonderful practice for everyone around the world, frankly, as it is a practice that is performed and practiced all over the world.
Now, you've talked to me and I've listened before, and you talked about breath. So why is breath so important to the yoga practice?
The breath is the prana. It's the life energy. The breath is what connects our mind and our body. When you're in a practice and you're breathing, the breath is what fuels you. It helps to push you to the next level. We talked about that yoga can be difficult, especially difficult in a hot room when you do hot yoga. But when you breathe, the breathing allows you to push yourself further. And at the same time, the breath is calming and it helps you relieve your anxiety. So the breath is vital. It is the life force.
The life force.
It is the energy. It is the energy.
So for our audience that obviously can't see a picture of the postures that you have showing in the book, what can they visualize? What are the pictures of the book, or at least an example of one picture of the book?
Well, for example, the dancer pose is one that we speak to, or I speak to. I think it's a phenomenal posture to gain and to learn how to perform, because the dancer pose, for example, you're on one leg, you're lifting up an arm, you're lifting up a back leg. It requires balance. It requires focus. It requires concentration. It requires discipline. And if you take those elements that you're going to gain from the dancer pose and bring that into your life and attach that to relationships, to your work ethic, you have only all to gain. And I know Joanne wants to share a pose as well.
For me, it's the tree pose, and as it's depicted in the book as grounded in balance, stretched to the sky, which I believe everything should have a balance in life. Everything you do, work, spirit, relationships, it's all part of the balance. And the tree pose, yes, it has the branches that reach for the sky, and don't we all want to do that? So that's the pose that speaks to me, the tree pose.
So the pictures are of the pose in the book?
Yes, they are of the given postures.
So it's a little bit of for someone who's a beginner in yoga, it also could be helpful for them to see the poses visually before even starting with yoga, correct?
That is correct. And there is a sequence which we have to the book so that it is set up that way specifically so that someone that is a beginner can follow along and see what the posture is, read what the benefits are to the mind and the body, which is what our book speaks to, and also see how to perform the pose.
So each pose grows on each other. That's the reason for the sequence and the postures that you've selected in the guide?
Yes, it builds.
Yes, and each pose is accompanied by a message, an inspirational message of the benefits for each pose, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so
yes.
that also helps. I mean, a little blurb, look at the posture, and you get the whole picture.
Correct.
So not only this is a guidebook where you get to learn the pose, you're also getting some inspirational messages by reading the book.
Correct.
Was there a specific thought behind each of the illustrations that you've depicted in the book?
Yes. I mean, we have this wonderful illustrator. She had Netley, as we've mentioned, that had a contemporary vision. We wanted to depict strong, serene women. And that's how the illustrations were created. Basically, Joanne and I had written the prose and sent the prose to the illustrator. And the illustrator took what the benefits were and what the message was, and then created the illustration, which we were frankly.
Yes, they're generic looking so that even men will benefit.
Yes.
Right, yeah.
So the book is good for beginners as well as experienced?
Yes, practitioners. By all means. Yes.
So let's talk about a couple of the specific postures that, are there one or two specific postures that you included in the book that kind of your favorites that speak to each one of your personalities?
Yes. As I mentioned, I just spoke about the dancer pose and Joanne spoke about the tree. There is another pose called the camel pose, which I also embrace. The camel pose, you're basically on your knees and you're doing a back bend and grabbing your ankles, and it opens your heart and elevates and lowers and brings your head back down. And what it does is it tunes into your emotional state. So when you're doing the camel pose, this is a very tricky pose. Many people, if you're going through a difficult time in your life, you might actually cry while you're doing the pose. You might feel nauseous. You might feel unbalanced. And any instructor will share that with you before doing the posture. That this is it brings up a very strong emotional state. But what it does is it allows you to learn how to let go of what may be affecting you in a negative way so that you can get back to a more positive state.
That's great. I haven't come across that pose yet, so I'm going to have to check that out and see what that is. Joanne, do you have a specific posture that speaks to your personality?
The tree, yes. So I spoke about the tree. That one really speaks to me because of the balance, because I believe in balance in life, but also the cobra. I discovered the cobra, and I think what that does, what it does for me is it helps my breathing. It helps my breathing and it clears my head. And that's basically, if you could describe how it is.
You're laying on your belly, your toes are pointed, you're arching your back, looking upward, your hands are by your shoulders and you're stretching upwards. So you're getting an enormous benefit to your back, you're opening your heart. As in all of these poses, you're controlling your body. Yeah. So at all times, you're toning, you're elongating, everything comes into play beautifully.
Good for the buttocks.
Good for the buttocks. Good for the derriere.
Yeah.
It is. Yes.
So cobra pose actually is my favorite pose. So going from cat-cow into cobra is my favorite little transition, but cobra is my favorite pose. So that one I've heard of. The other two, tree and camel, I haven't gotten to yet. So I'll have to check those out. But that was a great description, Sandra, for those beginners out there. So one of the things about the book is that next to each pose, you have a journal entry. Now, why have you done that in this book?
Well, as in all therapy, writing a journal, writing down your thoughts, the idea was that you see the pose, you read the pros and the benefits, and then after doing the posture, you write your thoughts down. You become more self-aware of how you're feeling after having done the pose. And
emotionally and physically,
and tuning into your self-awareness, which ultimately helps with your overall sense of well-being, to understand yourself better. So that's why we included the journal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a great way of trying to combine the physical poses with the mental aspects of yoga, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So you also asked the reader to create a personal vision board at the end of the book. What is that, and why do you have that in the book?
A vision board, this is how I see it. With yoga, the chakras, which are also mentioned in the book and shown what their benefits are.
The energy.
The energy. That's right. The breath. They're all connected, and a vision board that contains photos or inspirational messages, drawings, everything that's personally created. If you study that every day and you look at it, we believe that it will attract those desires through the universe. Now, Sandra might have,
To me, if you see something in a magazine or a newspaper, you cut out an article and you get yourself a poster board, quite simply, and you put down on this poster board, let's say you want a paddle board, you put that on your poster and you look at that every day. You're eventually, with desire, with motivation, you're going to make that happen. It manifests. So the whole idea is that create your vision for life. See, what is it that you want? Where do you want to go? Do you want to travel? What do you want to do from a work standpoint? Look at that every day. It becomes part of you. And with hard work, desire, motivation, you can achieve and accomplish what you seek.
I can't agree with you more. I'm such a huge vision philosophy. I actually wrote a book, talk about some of the stars out there have used that, getting off track. Jim Carrey did that before when he went to Hollywood as an 18-year-old. He wrote himself $1 million check, kept it in his wallet until he actually was famous. So that he used that as his vision board. So I totally agree with that.
That's great.
So getting back to yoga and the book, any final thoughts for those out there about the book and why this can help them?
Well, I think that, again, the whole idea of the book, our book, Inside Out Yoga, it is a nice sequence and flow of very important postures that are a major benefit to the mind, body, and spirit, coupled with our journal entry and our vision board and our poses. It will help the reader. Our goal is to help the reader practice yoga, because yoga has these overwhelming, as we've mentioned, benefits to the mind, the body, the spirit. And I mean, for myself, for example, I am an avid practitioner. I do my yoga 3 to 4 times a week. I miss it. If I do not have my day of yoga, I feel it. I just feel that after, there's nothing like starting the day than with a yoga practice. And that's what I hope that other people that don't practice yoga will give it a shot, because the benefits are overwhelming.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add, Joanne?
No, I actually incorporate some of the poses with transformational breath. It's all connected. It just makes you feel better, and it invites the positive energy. And when the positive energy from within, as we have an introduction in the book, everything within is without. You whatever you have inside of you when you bring forth, that's what you're going to manifest. That's what
we want to manifest positivity
and success and joy and love. Period. That's it, really.
Right. And peace. That's why they say namaste.
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 And I say oy vey.
This has been great. Thank you both, Sandy and Joanne, for joining us today. You can actually watch both of their shows on the East Hampton LTV, and you can purchase the book Inside Out Yoga on Amazon and barnesandnoble.com. I would strongly recommend looking at for those of you that are just starting and getting into yoga or a regular practitioner. So thank you again, Sandy and Joanne, for joining us today.
Thank you, Leslie.
Pleasure.
It was our pleasure. Thank you. A good day to all. Namaste.
Just a couple final thoughts. So many of our podcasts feature ways to better enjoy your quality of life. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about Hello Wealth Management and our process, please go to our website, hellowealthmanagement.com, to schedule a free 20-minute consultation. Thank you again, everyone, for joining us. Eric?
Sandra and Joanne, this was fantastic. So thank you again for being here on the show. And Larry, I don't know about you, but I went into yoga thinking, okay, you stand in a certain pose, or you make us do a certain pose, and then you sit there and you meditate on things and you think on things. This should be easy. Oh boy. I don't know about you. I know that you're kind of early in your yoga journey, but it kicked my butt. It was a lot harder than I thought. I thought it was extremely beneficial. I actually enjoyed learning a little bit about it today, and I look forward to seeing the book. So again, Larry, thank you for bringing them on the show. And of course, our last thank you goes to you, the listening audience. Thank you for tuning in and listening to the Retire Right podcast with Larry Heller. If you have not subscribed to the podcast yet, please click the subscribe now button below. This way, when Larry comes out with a new podcast, it'll show up directly on your listening device. This makes it much easier to share these podcasts with your friends and family. Again, thanks for listening today. For everyone at Heller Wealth Management, this is Eric Johnson reminding you to live your best day every day. And we'll see you next time.